Hey, what's going on? Alaska, YouTube, Alaska, Facebook, Shalom, where the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites. Is a class. All right, make sure you press one. Press one if you can hear and see. Press one if you can hear and see. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. The Judas and the Black Messiah movie. All right, Judas and the Black Messiah movie was psychological warfare. I'm going to explain why. All right. Judas and the Black Messiah movie was a good movie. I'm glad for, glad for the family of who was that they depicted, family of Fred Hampton, what have you. But overall, they use that movie like they use most of our movies about our movements, to downplay us or to give us a sense of hopelessness. You get my point? And I'm going to give you the scriptures on it. First of all, you cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid of coming into the truth. You cannot be afraid of wanting to help and protect and defend your people, because the devil, the slave master, has made it damn near like a has made it damn near like a like it's hopeless. Zariah loves to water for the one. All right. He's made it like, our movements are hopeless and they'll never work. Fred Hampton was good. He gave people food, but he got shot in his rear end. You can watch him get killed by racist police officers on this movie, right? That's essentially what it was. We're going to show you the truth about the matter. The truth about the matter is that there's one movement that is going to work to get so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans out of here. That movement is the truth. The movement is the Bible. All right? Everybody has to be on the same page. You can't have one crew of Black Panthers giving out free lunches and selling drugs and pushing weapons and having sex with white women, right? And committing other acts of sexual depravity. Another group calling themselves a Nation of Islam, also having threesomes and orgies and whatnot, also drowning babies in tubs of water, also being murderers, also being criminals, and expect for us to get together. So-called Negroes can't YouTube is back up. So we should be back up and running on YouTube. YouTube, all right, ISUPK Alaska back up and running. Uh, Comment on what you thought about the Judas and the Black Messiah movie, Malcolm X movie, or what have you. What were your thoughts about other movies where they depict so-called black leaders? Kapab Banath Manessa said, I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a very interesting movie. Did not realize this is how the Rainbow Coalition started. I just didn't understand why he had the whites join. He had the whites join because that's a good question. I don't understand why the whites joined. Okay. Make league with them. I'll go to first. I'll give you one. Here's why. I'll give you one. I'm on the first Maccabees 1. Okay. First Maccabees 1. He had a good intention. He wanted to help so-called black people, right? But this is why he let white people in, so-called white people, so-called Caucasians in. All right. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, this is First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11 to the sister. This is why he joined. This is why he joined the Rainbow Coalition. Okay, and also too, that was another thing I didn't know that till a few days ago. To the sister that commented, I didn't know that till a few days ago that they were trying to join the LGBTQ community, or what is now called the LGBTQ community. I didn't know that. All right, so that's a good comment that you made there. But this is why they had the Caucasians join. To the sister that had that comment or that observation. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. All right? They went to make a covenant with the heathen that were round about them, sister. That's what the Black Panthers that ended up doing. They had Asians in. It had all manner of Caucasian women in, all right? And it just devolved into a cesspool of lust. A cesspool of heathenry, all right? That's what it devolved into. In those days, went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. See that? Since we've departed from them, we've had much sorrow. There are many benefits to them joining Caucasians. First thing you have to understand, sister, is that they were able to get more money, which is why anyone gets with the people from the other nations is they can get their money to buy sneakers and new cars and fancy things and live in the suburbs. I don't have to live in the hood anymore, right? I don't have to live in Fairbanks anymore. I can move out of Fairbanks. I can move to the suburbs. I don't have to live in Anchorage with the Crips and Bloods shooting it out. Excuse me, with the Japhite gangs. I can move out. Since we've left them, we've had much sorrow. Since it's just been black people, all we're able to do is push free lunches or free breakfasts and talk with megaphones in the ghetto. We don't want to do that. We have to branch out. We have to expand. We have to adapt. That's another thing you'll hear these groups say. We have to adapt. We don't adapt for anything. The Lord doesn't adapt. I'm the Lord, I change not. We don't change at all. We take our message and we put it on different platforms. That's what we do. Okay? For since we departed from them, we've had much sorrow. So that's why they did that. That's why they did that. All right? 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Okay? Your labor is not in vain. Black Panthers gave out free lunches. All right? They shouted with a few megaphones. They said, Black power, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And that was it. Okay? All right? And that was that. Their labor, this is what was good, hasn't had real effect in so-called black people. Hasn't had real lasting effect. And you juxtapose, you compare their movement with the Israelites, with us, the ISUPK. And we have lasting effect, lasting change on people, man. That they can't say they have, even though they had great numbers. How do I know that? Is they were still robbing banks, they were still committing murder. Many of their members were selling drugs, all right? Working with the feds and what have you. You don't have that in here, okay? You don't have that in here. The scriptures say this: "You shall know them by their fruits." All right. And what were their fruits? Men that were joining Caucasians. What were their fruits? Cesspools of orgies. All right. Always abound in the work of the Lord. Never stop working. Okay. If you're looking at those movements and saying, "Wow, that movement was big," the Young Lords, that was a large movement. The AIM, the American Indian movement, that was a large movement. The Black Panthers, wow, they were so big and mighty. They're all over the country. They had power. Nation of Islam. If you saying that, why can't you make the Israelites? Why can't you make that big? Why can't you make that well known, at least famous? You can make this place absolutely famous. You have to put the work in. You get my point? Always abound in the work of the Lord. Always abound in the truth. There's always something to do. This is a school that you'll never graduate from. You'll always be learning. All right? Class is always in session as well. All right? Bear with me 1 second. Also, if you have any questions, type your questions in. If you have any questions, type your questions in. All right? Bear with me 1 second. Boom. Bear with me 1 second. Once again, if you're watching, smash the like button. Type in any questions you have, comment, like, and share. All right? Bear with me 1 second. Let me go to Deuteronomy 20. Okay? Go to Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. All right, these are the laws about warfare, and we're in war right now. Okay? We're at war right now, but as the Bible says, the scriptures say in 2 Corinthians 10, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but we're at war right now. And I'm going to show you what we need to understand before going to war. Okay? Firstly, men in Israel went to war. The sisters aid the men. But to the brothers specifically, we have to stop being weak. Okay? We have to stop laying down with whores. We have to stop selling drugs. Stop hurting one another, harming one another. All right? Destroying one another, speaking about one another like trash, like garbage. That's the one thing we should learn from that Black Messiah movie. Judas and the Black Messiah, if we can learn one thing, if we're going to get together, if we're going to affect change, we have to stop being divided. We have to stop castigating one another and hating one another and oppressing one another. That's the one thing that you could say about the Black Panthers that they did. I'm not negating the whole movement. All I'm saying is that they failed. They were failed leaders because they weren't followers of Christ. What I am saying, though, is that they had good things about them, good things that so-called Negroes should follow or should keep within themselves. Spirit of brotherhood, the spirit of joining and being together. Okay? Those brothers didn't have the right path. They didn't have the truth. All right? I think Malcolm X could have been a great leader, but I believe he learned too late about the Nation of Islam. He was very smart and disciplined, right? And many of the things that he learned, as Elijah Muhammad learned, was from being underneath the Israelites. Okay. Malcolm X heard much of what he heard later on in his later years from the Israelites. All right. The Muslims like to say it was they said that the white man was the devil first. That's highly debatable. And it's highly debatable because, okay, according to sources, now I can't prove this, whether this is true or not. According to sources, Elijah Muhammad was a member of the commandment keepers before he became a Muslim. So he was an Israelite, quote unquote, before he became a Muslim. The commandment keepers is the group that our leader, Abba Bivens, split from and was a part of at one time. They were a little bit more, revolutionary than the other black Judaism groups, the black Jewish groups, and eat matzah and all that other nonsense. All right, that's a rumor. But again, the white man is the devil comes from the Bible, so he heard that from us. But yeah, he would have been a great leader. But there'll be many greater than him that come out of the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. All right. He had great ideas, great intentions. They didn't serve Christ. Was with a bunch of criminals. All right. Deuteronomy 20:1. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, we're going out to battle against our enemies, man. So-called Negro, Latino, Native American, understand this: that when you put the blunt down, the cigarette down, all right, the weed down, when you stop being an alcoholic, you just put the whores down, stop having sex, stop dealing with prostitutes. Understand this: as you've taken up arms to go to war against your adversary. Why? Because your adversary wants you to be a weed head. Your adversary wants you to be up in smoke. Okay? Like Cheech and Chong. All right? Your adversary wants you to deal with whores. Your adversary wants you to treat the Negro woman like a whore, Latina and First Nations Native woman like a whore. When you stop doing that, you taking up arms against him in war. That's his war. His war is to get us to sin. Okay, that's why there's pork in every commercial. They're showing interracial commercials. Now, I don't watch TV. According to reports, they're showing more interracial commercials than you can stomach. Why? Because there's a battle going on. And just like any enemy, he moved his chess piece up. All right, they're moving out more. Let's push our agendas out more to the people that don't know to get them to fall. All right? All right, they're moving on YouTube. They got thousands of subscribers. Let's hit all their channels. Okay? All our channels got clipped at once. Don't tell me that wasn't orchestrated. Do not tell me that was not orchestrated. We had channels a few years ago doing 15,000 subscribers with hundreds of thousands of views. 10,000 subscribers, 15,000 subscribers, 8,000 subscribers. Most of our pages you see today, those are new pages. I've been in the truth for a few years. Those are new pages. All right. When I first came in, we had we had pages doing numbers, 10,000, 15,000. One was approaching 20,000, I think. Right. The Harlem page, ISUPK Harlem, it's approaching 15,000, 20,000 subscribers, man. Okay. Clipped all of them. Why? Because they're at war with us. They move at peace, we move at peace. That's what's going on here. All right. That's like every other commercial. Yeah, every other commercial they're showing that. Exactly. All right. And see, it's horses and chariots, and a people more than thou. They're more than us. They've got military and armies and Harvard graduates, etc. Be not afraid of them. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be scared of them, man. Don't be scared of your adversary. I don't care where he went to school. I don't care what he knows. I don't care, what he thinks he knows. I don't care what information he has on us or what he thinks he studied in the Bible, or what he thinks he knows about the Bible, or what his friends say about him. Don't be afraid of him. Don't be afraid of him. Okay? For the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. God's with us, man. God is with us. All right? The Most High God is with us. The living power is with us. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 2. And it shall be when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them. And it shall be when ye are come nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. Don't faint, man. Don't faint. Don't be afraid when you see this world. Sisters, don't faint when you see a whore get all the attention, the likes, or what have you in the world. Because you'll come into a school, you can come to a group of men that will treat you like a virgin, like you have never been touched, whether you're 23 or 53. Okay? A school that will treat you like you weren't someone that that everybody had in the block. It is an expectation for men in this school to treat women like that. Sisters that come into the school and become brand new. Whatever you did in the world, look, that's done business. The Lord said it. The Lord said, yeah, whosoever is in Christ and Yahushua is a new creature. Okay? That's an act of war to wipe a so-called black woman's slate clean, a Latina's slate clean, a First Nations woman's slate clean. They don't want us to do that. They don't want us to do that. They want you to be a hot girl, right? They want you to be a woman with experience, someone that experiments. We take you in and we wipe your slate clean. Now you're not an experimenter. Now you're an expert. Okay? Now you're an expert in all things righteous and how to serve a man. And that's what he doesn't want. That's his worst nightmare. Okay? That's more harmful than a stinking terrorist attack to this idiotic Muslims, ISIS and them. What we're doing is much more dangerous than them. Okay? Yet we do it while committing no crime in America. Nation of Islam, Black Panthers. You can be a revolutionary and not be a criminal as well. That's another thing. You can be a man and not be a criminal. So-called Black man, Latino, First Nations man, Native American. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 3. And shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. Fear not, and do not tremble. Neither be ye terrified because of them. Don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid. Of movies like Judas and the Black Messiah cause you to be afraid. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be hopeless. Yeah, he fed a little Negroes. He fed a little Negro kids. He fed a few pickaninnies. But at the end of the day, we shot him in his rear end. He bled to death. We took a picture over him. First kill. Brad got me. We got us a live one. So you better not revolt. You better not revolt, Dontaviousness. You better sit in Flint, Michigan and take that dirty water and let it make you good and retarded and crazy. Okay? You better take that smog and pollution. You better take those guns we've got for you, Mookie. It's Chicago. You've got ops. He stepped on your shoe. You can't take that, can you? You've listened to our music. We tell you to kill your own when they wrong you, when they slide by you. But you better never step to us, boy. That's what the white supremacists said. You can talk about how manly you are against other black people. You can terrorize other black people. But you better not ever step to me, boy. That's why many of those movements fail as well. White supremacists aren't having any of that. You so-called black man, you trying to be a man. You can sag your pants and murder black people, right? And kick black women. You can kick Latino women. You can kick them up and down the street and call them putas, okay? Call them nappy-headed hoes. You can run through them. But you better not ever think you're going to step to me and be a man. Any group that's tried to stand up against this beast, against this system, has been destroyed. And that was part of the reason that they hated Martin Luther King. Now, Martin Luther King was a false prophet, okay? He's not a leader we should follow. But that Birmingham bus boycott was in the right spirit in this, that we should have our own bus system, that black people can, in fact, have their own bus system, that we don't, in fact, have to rely on their forms of transportation, etc. All right? And they made sure to nip that in the bud. Malcolm X as well. You standing up, you're a man. You making books called Message to the Black Man. Are you in order? You're not acting like a damn slave like I taught you? And they all failed. They all fell. Okay? You cannot defeat white supremacy without the truth. You can't do it. Okay? You can't do it. And we are at war. All right? I'm in Flint. Our children are starting to see the after effects of the water. They're having severe learning difficulties, autism, and other mental disorders. That's insane, sister. And I've heard the rappers out of Flint as well. No disrespect, but yeah, that water, there's something in that water. Okay? There's something in that water in Flint. All right? I heard from Flint as a city of a great amount of talent. A lot of rappers that come out of Flint, okay? Not quite on the rocker. Okay, got a few screws loose. All right. None of that can be fixed except in the truth. All right. None of that can be fixed except in the truth. Don't be afraid. Don't be terrified because of them. Verse 4: For the Lord your God is he that goeth to fight with you. That goeth with you. Excuse me. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you, to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. The Lord's going with us, man. The Lord's going with us to fight against us. All right? The Lord would solve the problem in Flint, Michigan. All right? The Lord would fix all of the nutcases, okay, and crazed, maniacal, psychopathic killers that are in that area really because of tainted water. Like you think it's just because that's how black people is. You know how we do. Flint, Michigan, all they shooting again. They just don't want to pick themselves up. They just lazy, boss. Master, can you come get these crazy Negroes? That's what we say. That's what he wants us to say, rather. When in reality, a lot of this is just down to something like water. And it would be a simple fix if the Most High was on our side, but he's not. Okay? All right? A murderer shooting daily. That's insanity. All right? Much of it due to the water, just like in Chicago. Much of it due to pollution. Okay? They did studies and they found that pollution from gas, leaded gas, led to the spike in murders that was seen in the 1970s to the 90s. All right? And the area of Chicago that has a high crime rate is right between the two highways. The whole south side of Chicago, the O Block and all that is between two highways, inundated with pollution. They know that causes people to be more violent. Verse 5. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, what man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated it? Right, you got a new house, you didn't dedicate it. Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in battle, and another man dedicate it. And what man is he that hath planted a vineyard, and hath not eaten of it? Let him also go and return unto his house, lest he die in battle, and another man eat of it. Right. All right, let's read on. And what man is there that hath betrothed the wife, and hath not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in battle, and another man take her. All right, so these scriptures, these few verses, saying if you got something that's more important than this battle, just get out. Don't come in. Like, if you're more concerned about your line of work, the thing you do to put food in your stomach, you know, you got a house. I've literally heard people not come to class, and at this point, not check in or anything, not come to school, not get their name, nothing, because they're fixing an apartment. That's a literal story. Okay, that's a literal story. And also, where Christ said, they began to make excuses. Oh, I got a house. I got land. Oh, I just got married. I can't go roll with you. Can't risk my life out here. Okay. I made excuses. If you got excuses or something to take you off track from the truth, go do it, man. Go tend to your house. And here we've got no excuses. And it's verses like these that are the reason why we had that slogan out. All right? If you got a wife, look, go be with your wife. All right? Meaning this, if you value the truth more than your wife, be with her. You, of course, can have a wife, have multiple wives, but your career is the truth. The truth is what comes first. Just like any man that's committed to any job. Bill Gates spent a lot of time away from his wife, away from his family. Elon Musk spends a lot of time away from his wife, away from his family. It's the same way with the truth, like any job, like any career. All right? There are going to be times when you're not going to be able to be around family, around, you know, your husband, or around your wife, or what have you. But that's the pain that you go through. All right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 8. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, what man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? If you're scared, if you're a coward, don't come in. Another slogan, no cowards. No cowards. If you're fearful or faint-hearted, don't take part. Don't join in this warfare. All right? Do not join in this warfare if you're fearful, if you're faint-hearted. Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint as well as his heart. Because what's going to happen is you're going to poison the camp. You're going to poison the school with your fear. And it's going to lower the morale of the people around you. And movies like Judas and the Black Messiah, that's what it's designed to do. Malcolm X is to put a spirit of faint-heartedness, of hopelessness in us. Malcolm X, he was great, good leader, disciplined. He was killed by his own people when they just are now coming out and looking into the possibility that it was a hit by the NYPD and FBI, that they had a hand in his murder. They put out movies like that where he's killed, etc., to make you faint-hearted. Like if they were really for black people, so-called black people, and us being in the spirit of, being strong and overcoming these obstacles that are in front of us, they would have done is they would have made the movie Judas and the Black Messiah with Fred Hampton, and then they would have shown the movements after that, right? They would have shown other movements leading up to today. And really, if you really want to be on a level, they would have shown us the ISUPK, because the year Fred Hampton was killed, 1969, was the year that the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge was founded, man. It was the year that we were founded. And we are the real group to follow. Okay? I'm going to click the Facebook feed. All right? If you're on Facebook, head over to YouTube. If you're on Facebook, head over to YouTube, ISUPK Alaska. Check out the rest of the class. All right? All right, so that's it for the Facebook feed. YouTube, we're still going. I posted the sign-in link. Make sure you sign in. All right? Make sure you sign in. You sign in. You sign in. Okay? Sign in on the YouTube link, ISUPK Alaska. All right? ISUPK Alaska. And again, the same thing holds in Alaska. Crips and Blood, gang wars, murders in Anchorage, Fairbanks, and what have you. All right? Bear with me 1 second. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. I apologize about that. I had a brief hiccup. All right, a brief technical hiccup. We're going to keep going. All right, like Judas and the Black Messiah, those movies are designed to instill a spirit of fear in us that we cannot have. We're not allowed to have. All right, bear with me 1 second. All right? We're at war. And we cannot be faint-hearted. We can't be weak. If you want to take part in this, if you want to help fix so-called black people, Latinos, First Nations, you can't be afraid, man. Can't be afraid. All right? We are not allowed to be afraid. No cowards. No cowards. That'll be our message for this movie. Don't let it distract you, and don't be afraid. All right? Questions, type them in. If you have any questions, type them in. If not, I'm going to continue. All right? Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 9. And this is another important thing to understand when you are going to war. When thou goest forth against thy enemies, then keep from thee every wicked thing. When you go into war, you have to keep from you every wicked thing. And this was also to the sister's comment, why couldn't they be leaders? A leader, all right, in a revolution for so-called black people, or a leader that is involved in changing and fixing black people, you are going to war with America. This is what you are doing. America has enacted policies called redlining. They stopped them when it was effective. They said, "Oh no, let's stop doing this," because they got their desired result. Okay, predatory lending, racism in the housing market was all done to confine us into these neighborhoods and then make those neighborhoods jobless, etc., drug infested, etc. Promote gang culture, drug culture, etc. to destroy us. So when we going forth to war, a leader has to keep himself from every wicked thing. Okay? You can't be chasing Swedish women through the halls of a Swedish hotel. You can't be doing that. All right? And then expect to be a leader and lead so-called black people to the promised land. That's a joke. Okay? That is an absolute joke, man. That's what it is. When you're a leader, you trying to lead so-called Negroes out of oppression, you can't be a pothead. You can't have sex and deal with whores. Okay? You can't deal with women of other nations. If you've done that before you came to the truth, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. If you get with a heathen before you know the truth, stay with that woman. Or if you're a woman, you get with a man that's not an Israelite, stay with him. Okay? If he or she chooses to leave you, that's on them. Okay? But when you're going out to war, keep from every wicked thing. All right? Luke 9:62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God. I mean, you can't begin this work and look back. What does looking back mean? Having respect. Looking back is what respect means, to respect, to re-examine. And having respect to your life behind you. That's what, forget her name, woman that was turned into a pillar of salt. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Lot's wife. Okay? Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. All right? You look back, you're not fit for the kingdom. And she wasn't fit for the places she was going because she was looking back. She had a job to do, which was to leave that city with Lot. She didn't do it. And anybody that takes up this oath, takes up this banner, ISUPK, comes to the truth, seeks to be a disciple of Yahushua, and looks back, has respect to their life, all right? Respect to the world and misses the things they did in the world. I mean, you looking back and you trying to go back into it, you're not fit for the kingdom, man. You're going to fall, is what that's saying. You're going to fall. All right? If you have any questions, type them in. Questions, type them in. Another thing, too, about a leader, okay, which Fred Hampton was not, Martin Luther King was not, Marcus Garvey was not, all right, is you have to be hot. You have to be a zealot. A zealot for what? A zealot for the truth. These men, though they had great ideas, were not zealots for the truth. All right? Revelation chapter 3, verse 16. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. All right? You got to be lukewarm. You got to be hot for the commandments, for the truth. You can't be cold. Excuse me. You can't be lukewarm. Be hot. Be hot all the way in. If you're not all the way in, just get out. Just be cold. Just don't be in the truth. Do whatever the hell it is you want. Like, why be halfway? Why half step? Why be in here? Why come into the truth? Why try and fix so-called black people if you're going to be for them, but in the bedroom, when it's time to have an orgasm, you for the Swedes, you for every other nation, all right? It's not going to fly with the Most High. It's not going to fly with Yahushua. It's not going to work. Like Most High, Yahushua, he's got the blueprint. The blueprint is to be hot, to be a zealot, all right? To put wickedness away from you, and to be a disciple of Yahushua, all right? And be a disciple of Yahushua, and to not go for these heathens, okay, like the leaders did. Excuse me, First Maccabees 1:11, and in the New Testament as well. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Christ is going to put you out, okay? He's going to put you out. You can't be like these so-called leaders, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, and be for your people, for the truth, or what have you, for your people getting free, but you having sex with little kids and Caucasians, and he's doing drugs, selling drugs, what have you. That's not going to fly. It's not going to work. All right? This is Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving, if you're afraid, you scared, if you're not coming in because you're afraid that we're too revolutionary, that's another thing as well. We're not more radical, the term I'm trying to use is radical. If you are not coming in because we're too radical, we're too fringe, we're too extremist, you are just afraid. That's what it really is. You're just masking it. I'm not getting with them. They're crazy. Look at them yelling out there in the street corner. You're just afraid. Because we're not more radical than the cop that's blowing our heads off. Huh? We're not more radical than the white supremacists who stormed the Capitol. Are you kidding me? They grow more and more. Our people are afraid to come to the truth because you're fearful. And this is the lot of the fearful. The fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. When America is destroyed, because we're so afraid, we're so scared of leaving America, we're going to die with America. So we're so afraid of leaving America spiritually. We're so afraid of leaving Christmas. We're so afraid of leaving Christianity. We're so afraid of not being accepted by whores, by our friends, by our family, by the world. Then when this world is destroyed, we're going to be burning with it. Okay? That fire and brimstone is the thermonuclear weapons that are going to be detonated here in America and all across the world. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire and brimstone with the murderers. That's how serious being a punk is, a coward is. It's disgusting. All right? Come all the way in. Don't worry about anything that might come. But the fearful and unbelieving, you are unbeliever. You know, Yahushua is gonna bring all bring the truth, to the world. I hear that all the time as well. You gotta wait for Yahushua. Wait for Yahushua. You're scared. You're afraid, and he doesn't respect none of that nonsense. He does not respect it at all. Looks at it like he looks at it like you're a Catholic. I'm just trying to help you out. I'm a prophet of God. Okay. He looks at it just like if you're a Catholic. All right. Waiting for Yahushua to return. We won't be together till Yahushua returns. When Peter and Paul and them were there, you obeyed them and you dropped dead. Okay? And it's cute, it's fun and games now, but it won't be. You cannot go against the king, and you cannot go against his messengers or his servants as well, because when you do that, you go against the king. You're gonna wait till the man comes, till Yahushua is back. Jesus has arrived. Yes, sir. Yes, I will obey you. But you can't obey his subjects? Huh? What, it ain't over? It ain't over yet. He didn't return yet. Well, there's men in there that are in the running, that are in the race, and you're supposed to follow them. That's in the Bible. And if you don't, you are unbelieving. All right? And there is no other group but the ISUPK that is doing these things, that teaches these things. Everybody else is a stinking American. That's what everyone else is. And they're going to die in America. All right? And the abominable, you're just disgusting. A child molester, a pervert, a rapist. All right? A Christian. The abominable. You eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. A prostitute. And murderers, straight up and down, knife, gun. Here's Johnny, murderer, shooter. And whoremongers. And whoremongers, a purveyor of whores, a buyer of whores. Okay? And sorcerers. You're a sorcerer, you're a drug dealer. Or you're a witch, or you're a Christian pastor. Putting people into a trance. Hallelujah, Jesus. Pass plate around. Give me my money for my new jet. Sorcerer, man. Or a man that whips up a concoction to enslave people, to give to his addicts, to his fiends. And idolaters. Idolater. Celebrating Carnival, celebrating New Year's. Which mostly you doing it from your room anyway. It's shut down anyway. It looks stupid and ridiculous now. All right? And all liars. All liars. You lie, you having a part in that as well. Shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. This is the second death. Okay, the first death is you coming into the truth and shedding the old man. If you can't do that because you're one of these people, you're going to take part in the second death. And that second death, oh boy, it is terrible. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be absolutely tragic. All right? It's going to be absolutely tragic. I want to share a piece of history with you as well. All right? So-called black men building the railroads, or the road, Trans-American Highway, I believe. All right? Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Share it with you. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Share screen. Okay. All right. Oh, excuse me for that.
Build 1,500 miles of road in 8 months through the Alaskan Canadian wilderness? You're kidding, right?
15 miles of roadway in 8 months in freezing, Canadian and Alaskan wilderness.
But that is exactly what happened. In response to the attack on Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt authorized the construction of a road to Alaska.
The effective defense of Alaska is of paramount importance to the defense of the continent. Alaska is most exposed to an attempt by the enemy to establish a foothold in North America.
The following year, after basic training in construction engineering, 11,000 men shipped north.
11,000 men shipped north after basic training. So in response to World War II, they had to build a highway to get goods and supplies up there to Alaska. To this day, they're fighting the Ruskies up there, okay? Their jets and American jets are neck and neck next to each other, harassing each other, antagonizing each other.
More than a third came from 3 all-black regiments, the 93rd, the 95th, and the 97th Engineers.
The 93rd, 95th, 97th Engineers, black units. More than a third of them, so-called black men.
Black soldiers were rarely sent into combat, but rather were put into labor battalions at lower pay. The Alaska assignment was an unprecedented opportunity for pay and benefits equal to those of white soldiers. And black and white units were to work on the same project. That was practically unheard of. Work commenced in the winter of 1942 in 5 directions at once, paired units working independently. Conditions in the north were always harsh, and this was the coldest winter on record.
Lord, it was bitter cold. If you touch anything metal with your bare hands, you couldn't tear your skin loose. Clifton Mark.
Leather would freeze. We take galoshes, rubber galoshes, we call them Arctics, and we'd wear 3 full pairs of socks. We doubled up on pants. Corporal Donald Nolan.
Frigid. Look at his brother's face. Frigid. Whatever was water in your face froze. So-called black men building this Alaska highway. Once again, to help America. And how they repay us? By placing us in shacks and ghettos in Alaska. So-called black men in Alaska, their descendants should be paid. And once again, they're talking philosophically about these reparations, man. When they've given all these other nations reparations, the so-called Jew. I'm going to take it off them for a second. The so-called Jew, they've given so-called Jew reparations. They've given Japan reparations. Germany's paid reparations. These men built the Alaskan Highway to defend America against the Japanese and later on against the Russians. And they are complaining about reparations. It's disgusting. They could be, with all the PUA they're giving out, they could have gave us reparations years ago and could still be paying us back pay from Reconstruction. It's sickening. I had to go off on a tangent, but I had to point that out real quick. Okay.
Months on end, I couldn't get a real night's sleep. I had nightmares. I was freezing to death. Unidentified soldier.
Summer wasn't much better. Trucks sank in melting permafrost, and giant mosquitoes dive-bombed in droves. The Black Engineers faced other challenges. General Simon Bolivar Buckner, head of the Alaska Defense, ordered the black soldiers confined to camp so they wouldn't socialize with locals. Even more frustrating, despite the superior training and experience of the 95th Black Engineers, their heavy equipment had been given to a less qualified unit. As a crowning blow, the black engineers were then supposed to improve the safety and durability of a road built by that same white unit. To build morale, their commander gave them a challenge: build a bridge over the fast-moving, 300-foot-wide Sicannie Chief River.
This is going to be difficult. Take at least 5 days, maybe more. Are you up for it, men?
Piece of cake.
Oh, bet my paycheck we can do it in 4.
Yeah, man.
Sure we can do it.
Using only hand tools, they prepared the beams and plunged chest deep into the freezing water.
Only hand tools, 300-foot, okay, wide river, 5 days, no heavy machinery, none. They had to get the job done.
Water to set the trestles. Working round the clock.
Let me skip back.
Are you up for it, men?
Piece of cake.
Oh, bet my paycheck we can do it in 4.
Yeah, man.
Sure we can do it.
Using only hand tools, they prepared the beams and plunged chest deep into the freezing water to set the trestles. Working round the clock, they finished ahead of schedule.
Working around the clock, meaning it wasn't 9 to 5, it was 9 to 9. Working around the clock in freezing water with no heavy machinery. They got the job done. They got the job done. And you complaining about giving their descendants reparations? You're disgusting, man. It's disgusting. And Barack Obama to get up there in front of a camera after he had 8 years, he had nearly a decade to get it started and didn't get it started. We built jails for so-called Mexicans and Central Americans to get shackled. Meanwhile, the number one illegal immigrant in this country are the Asians. They disrespect us constantly, man. These people should be getting a check. Their descendants should be very well off for the amount of stress, undue stress that was put on them by the so-called white regiments, and the stress they receive working in these hellish conditions. They should still be receiving back pay. Wait, and this isn't crazy. Didn't the so-called white GI soldiers, white veterans, benefit from the GI Bill? And so-called black veterans did not benefit from? This is black history, man. This is black history. Disrespected after he gave so much. This is amazing that these brothers, these men were able to do this. Amazing, as Jesse Lee Peterson says. Amazing.
Highway continued. 8 months after construction started, the road was complete. Many in the military had doubted African American engineers were up to the job.
I took a part in building what was considered one of the greatest engineering projects during the last century. Some people said it was second only to the Panama Canal.
And we did it in record time before they said we could do it.
It's taken 63 years for those people to realize that they had the best crew of men that they could have selected.
After the highway's completion, many of the black engineers were sent to active duty in Europe and the South Pacific, where they again performed superbly, negating the argument that African Americans were unfit for battle. Finally, in 1948, after pressure from leaders and veterans in the African American community, President Truman desegregated the armed forces, bringing greater equality to the military. But racial discrimination was still very much alive in the rest of America.
All right. Once again, that was just a little piece of history for Alaska. This is the Alaska class. Like, they constantly disrespect us, man. There should be no issue with giving out reparations. All right. They'll make these movies about Fred Hampton and this guy and that guy. Hand over the money. All right. Hand over the money. Hand it over. Bear with me 1 second. I'm about to post a sign out link. Posting a sign out link for the class. Okay. And stories like this, and movies like Judas and the Black Messiah, that really just wear us out. They really, really just wear us out, man. And that's what the scriptures say. The scriptures say that he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. All right, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. This devil, this beast, he speaks great words against the Most High. Weed is legal. Excuse me, using weed to get high is legal. Right? Sexual variation, being a member of the LGBT community is fine. And the Lord said that's not something to do. He said pork's other white meat, right? He said all these things. He's spoken great words against the Most High, all right? And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. He's worn us out by showing us movies where we're constantly getting killed. Like the Nat Turner Rebellion. Nat Turner was lynched. 200 slaves were killed. He shows all of that. But they won't make a movie about the Seminoles. They won't do that. They won't make a movie about the Seminole War. The Seminoles defeated the United States Army. The United States Army has never gotten over that. All right? The United States Army has not gotten over the fact that Seminole, the so-called Seminole Indians, the tribe of Reuben, defeated the Americans. All right? They defeated them, man. They won't make a movie about that, but they'll make a movie about Fred Hampton getting killed in his sleep. Queen and Slim. They'll make a movie about if you ever defend yourself or your woman, we're going to kill you right before you get across the border or sail across the water to Cuba. All right? Constantly making movies to try and crush our hope. He's worn out the saints of the Most High while complaining about minimum wage. Minimum wage should be $7.25 an hour. Don't raise it at all. Meanwhile, billionaires pat on billions to their wealth. And most of them are not these great and fancy and, not fancy. These are not great and well-accomplished engineers. These are not great freak inventors and all this. These aren't George Washington Carvers and, Isaac Newtons. These are people that bet on the money that they already have and bet on companies to fail. Okay? That's mostly what hedge funds do. Hedge funds decide that it's the direction of a specific company. They invest in it, or they'll short sell it. I mean, they'll buy shares, okay, hoping the price drops so they can make up the difference. All right? They'll borrow stock, which is sold at a high price, right? Sell the stock back at a lower price to get the difference in return. They'll make money by doing that, but they'll sink a company. That's what most of these billionaires do, man. Add little to nothing to society. But they complain to us, you're not productive. You don't produce things in society. Wear out the saints of the Most High. That's just what he did. And think to change times and laws. He thought to change times and laws, right? He made January 1st the new year, all right? Made January 1st the new year. He said the pork was other white meat, like I said. Make marrying a man or a pig or a car or a blow-up doll, make that legal. All right? When sex is what marriage is, sex is marriage, and sex is had between a man and a woman, he'll think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Time and times and the dividing of time. All right? It will be given to him. It will be given into his hand for a small period of time, brothers and sisters. Okay? But never fear, because a new day is coming. All right? Jacob is going to rule. Bear with me 1 second. Right? Bear with me 1 second. Pause, blah. Pause, blah. And that's what he did, man. He wore us out. Wore out the saints of the Most High. Okay, by wars, crusades against us, massacring us. All right? Bear with me 1 second. All right? Hold on 1 second. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. That's what he does as well. Speaks great things and he speaks blasphemies. He makes disgusting lies out. He puts disgusting lies out against the Most High. He puts disgusting, filthy lies out about the Most High. All right? Speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. Like he has the power to do these things for 40 and 2 months. The power to kill us in our sleep, 40 and 2 months. The power to kill those that are not in the truth, rather, in their sleep and blow their heads off and put spit hoods over them and kill them and allow them to build highways and then not pay them reparations. 40 and 2 months. A short time he has the ability to do this. All right? Bear with me 1 second. But understand this as well. This is something we have to understand and remember always. Revelation 13 and 10. Book of Revelation chapter 13 verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that leadeth into captivity, he's going to go into captivity. This man that put us in slavery, put us on slave ships, he's going into captivity. All right? He's going into captivity. He that killeth with the sword, you kill with the sword, you commit murder. You kill a man in his sleep, take a picture next to him. I got fresh kill. We got us a live one. You're going to be killed with the sword. And they're going to be slaughtered, man. Our oppressors, the men and people that killed us. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right? Here's our patience. Here's our faith. I'm going to share another video with you about Lent. All right? Lent's on or it's coming soon or something. Whatever it is, whenever it is, it's a lie. Okay? It's a lie. I'm going to share a video with you about what Lent is. I'm going to break it down according to the truth. Lent is a lie. Lent is an absolute lie. All right? I'm going to show you real quick. If you have a question, type your questions in. Comment on what you thought about Judas and the Black Messiah movie. Live, ISUPK, Alaska. All right? Just share one of these with you.
Every year,
Hold on 1 second. Let me share the screen with you.
millions of Christians around the world begin the Easter season by celebrating Lent. Lent is a period of 40 days, not including Sundays, that runs from Ash Wednesday to Holy Saturday, the day before Easter. The 40 days of Lent are to commemorate the 40 days that Jesus fasted in the wilderness before beginning.
40 days to commemorate Jesus fasting. There's not a scripture nowhere in the Bible that commemorates where Jesus said to commemorate that fast. Okay, that is them changing times and changing laws. I mean, they added something to the Bible That's not there. Okay? They added something to the Bible that is just not there. All right? Let me get the screen here.
His earthly ministry, and is meant to help Christians spiritually prepare for Easter. Christians start the Lenten season by celebrating Ash Wednesday, where during evening services they receive the mark of the cross on their forehead. The
Mark of the cross.
Ashes made from the burned.
In reality, the mark of the beast. That's a sign, rather, of a mark of the beast. Mark of the beast is not physical. But you putting into your mind the concepts and philosophies of this beast, are you carrying it out, and acting it out, is the mark of the beast. And anyone that celebrates Ash Wednesday or Lent has the mark of the beast. They're willing to think the things and, through their thoughts, commit and do things that the beast would want. That is the beast philosophy. Because these Lent worshipers are OnlyFans models and murderers and rapists and sodomites and child molesters, man. Don't tell me I'm lying. And don't tell me I'm exaggerating. And don't tell us we're a hate group. Because everything we're saying is 100% truth. And these people can molest and rape across the planet Earth. And then they tell people to put ash on their foreheads. Destruction under that church. Destruction and poverty by the hand of God. A bunch of liars. A bunch of good, crooked liars. Ash Wednesday. How about stop molesting children Monday? Catholics. Christians. Give me a break. Give me a blooming break.
Palms used from the previous year for Palm Sunday and combined with olive oil. The ashes are to remind us of the passage in Genesis 3:19, which states that, "For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return."
All right, well, now again, for those of you that do not know, for the unenlightened, Genesis 3:19 is not saying that we should put ash on our head. Okay? Not what it's saying. Because when you return to dust, you can return to dust and not be burned. Okay? That's again a misinterpretation of the scriptures. I'm gonna have to reload this page, I guess, because everything is now frozen. Hopefully I'm still on. All right. Hopefully I am still on. All right. So we got to start from the beginning. I'm going to try and skip ahead.
Millions of Christians around the world
Please bear with me.
Season by celebrating
Having a few technical hiccups.
Lent is a period of 40 days, not including Sundays, that runs from Ash Wednesday to Holy Saturday, the day before Easter. The 40 days of Lent are to commemorate the 40 days that Jesus Sunday, and combined with olive oil. The ashes are to remind us of the passage in Genesis 3:19, which states that, "For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return." It also reminds us that we are nothing without the Lord, and that we are to look to the cross of Jesus to live.
That's okay. That's made up. They made this up, and they spread it through the force of the sword. All that ash, they put in the ash on the forehead. All that ash. Ooh, you are covered in the ashes of Jesus. They spread that by the force of the sword. They compelled our brothers, the so-called natives, put them at the stake, and said, "Accept the cross of Jesus or die." When those natives didn't speak Spanish, they would say that decree to them in Spanish. And they would say no, or they would just be burned alive because they couldn't respond. That's how they spread Ash Wednesday. That's how the Latinos are covered in ash right now. The Puerto Ricans, okay? Even in Alaska as well.
During this 40-day period, Christians will often abstain from things such as meat, sugar, alcohol, or tobacco. They will also see
Now, again, you always supposed to abstain from tobacco. Like again, these people don't know the Bible. Okay, these people do not know the Bible. These people are disgusting, filthy beggars. Filthy beggars. Okay? Shout out to the brothers in the UK. Filthy beggars. All right? And the hustle's running dry. Come on, Willie. Get that money together. All right? The hustle's running dry. They're going to have to come with some extra good ass. That ass is going to have a little bit of Coke in it. But no soda. All right? To keep these fools in it. Because they had to celebrate Lent virtually. And thank God thousands of children won't be touched. Okay? With the ash on their head. They got the ash, reminding them to always put God in your mind while they're hurt, like being molested. Thank the Lord that He shut down the world with COVID-19. All right? There's been many inconveniences, many people have died, but many people's lives have been saved, man. Many people's lives have been saved. Children born into the Catholic Church. Terrible. Terrible. That they have to suffer that nonsense. Or they put ash on everybody's head and the world believes, oh my God, look at that. Look at how pious and righteous they are. When those girls shake their behind in a stripper pole, they've been tapped by everybody in that country. All those little Italian girls putting ash in their head. No, everybody in Italy. Okay? All over the internet. Know everybody in Italy. Been with everybody in Italy. Have all of Italy's DNA in them. Got the Swiss Alps. Okay? Got a little bit of Germany. Eigenschlagen inside of them. All right? She can run down the room, get some ash on her forehead, and now praise Jesus. Oh, to hell with it. And the damn ash. Take your ash and dump it in a sewer. Okay? Take your ash and dump it in a sewer. Rome, Catholic Church. Gotta be kidding me.
that will help bring them closer to Christ, such as serving others, giving alms, seeking to pray more fervently.
Again, there's no season for not giving alms. There's no season for not. There is no holiday in the Bible where you must give alms. There's no time. Now there's a time to give us alms, but the rest of the time, screw you. I'm going to kick you when you're down. All these Catholics too in these Latin American countries, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, all disrespect the poor. They form paramilitary groups and they murder poor people. They murder poor black people. Give me a break. I'm sorry, Salakia, which means excuse me to the viewers, but this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Or reading more from the scriptures. One of my favorite activities is to take up a study of the events of Holy Week in preparation for Easter. This helps me spiritually prepare and to focus more on the true meaning of Easter and less on Easter eggs and candy. Over the next 40 days, I will produce several videos about the significant events of Holy Week. Within these videos...
Holy Week. Holy Week. More like holy,
I will show you some of the traditional Holy Week sites in Israel. And we'll also use an incredible new app designed by BYU to help bring first century Jerusalem to life. This app is one of the...
Christ hates the Catholic Church.
First of its kind, in that it allows you to actually wander around the ancient temple of Jerusalem and to visualize significant locations of the New Testament. I hope you will join me this year.
All right, but everybody gets the point, right? Everybody gets the point. It's disgusting. Lent has nothing to do with the Bible. All right, now I'm going to get you the scriptures on it. All right, Lent is weeping for Tammuz. All right. All right. Weeping for Tammuz. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. This is what Lent's about. Lent is the weeping for Tammuz. Okay, the god that was killed by a wild boar, which is why during Easter they eat ham. Which is why during Easter they eat ham. Okay, they're mourning for 40 days. They're without meat because they're mourning. Mourning for who? Tammuz. All this Lent, Ash Wednesday. You notice it's a cross, right? That cross is the T or the tau for Tammuz. The Greek letter tau for Tammuz. That's what it is. That's why they're weeping and crying. Oh, Jesus. When all other days of the year, they in some alleyway getting the blowjob. Okay, contracting all these STDs as well. They need to run a social experiment to figure out how much of the world's STDs is being spread by Catholics. It might be half. Might be half. Muslims might get a third. Okay, and the Jewish might get a quarter of it. All right. The Roman Catholic Church and their affiliates, the Christian Church, are responsible, I think, for most of the world's sexually transmitted disease, infection, and passing around AIDS as well. Okay. The AIDS cleaned out the choir. AIDS absolutely cleaned out the choir, man. Okay? That's the truth. That is the absolute truth. All right? Let me get Amos 5:21. Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days. The Lord despises your feast days. I despise your feast days. You made up Lent. There's no scripture in the Bible you can prove to me that Christ said to commemorate my fast 40 days. Christ said, when ye fast, do it not for men. I'm not doing this to be seen. There's one day that the Lord requires us to fast, and that's during the Day of Atonement. Everything else, during every other fast, if you want to fast, you do it yourself. All right? And you're not to appear unto men to fast, to not give someone an outward sign. The Christians, the Catholics, put a T on their head and when they look at the cats that aren't Catholics, look at you and say, "Hey, weren't you in a threesome with them the other day? What are you doing, man? Why you got the ash in your forehead?" Okay, all right. I despise your feast days. You made up Lent. Lent's not in the Bible. Your Catholic Church made it up to get more money from pagans. Okay? I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. The Lord's not going to smell in our solemn assemblies, man. The Lord is not going to smell in our solemn assemblies. He's not going to do it. He is not going to do it. All right? Verse 22, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Okay? Though we offer burnt offerings and meat offerings, the Lord's not going to accept them, man. The Lord is not going to accept them. All right? The Most High will not accept them. All right? Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. The Lord's not going to regard the peace offerings of our fat beasts. I'll show you another video on Lent as well. All right? Another video on Lent as well. Bear with me 1 second. Any questions, type your questions in. I posted the sign-out links. I'll post them in Spanish as well. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Bear with me 1 second. Sign-out links in Spanish. Boom. There you go. Hopefully that works. All right. Boom. All right, hold on. I have to refresh this page real quick. Bear with me 1 second. Any questions? Type your questions in.
reason I love using StreamYard, well, that's easy. I can make, me, Chris Brogan, I can make a show like the back.
All right, share the screen again. Mine begins on Ash Wednesday. All right, made from the burned palms of last year's Palm Sunday, worn by Christians and other Catholics and other Christians on this day, a sign of repentance. The sign of repentance is not on the outside. Signs of morality is not on the outside. It's not about what you wear. We wear these garments to show you the garments of our people. This is our culture. Okay, but it's not a sign per se of our morality. It does show who we serve. And because we wear these garments, we are supposed to have a certain level of morality. But the morality is within you. Repentance is within. You can't wear a behavior. All right? You can't wear a behavior. Because I don't wear clothes. I don't wear stripper clothes anymore. I stopped being a stripper. Now I put on looser, more form-fitting clothes. Or excuse me, less form-fitting clothes, looser clothes. I'm a Catholic. Doing the same thing she was doing as a stripper, but now she's just doing it under the guise of the Catholic Church. Again, that doesn't mean you're moral because you're in a church, because you put ash on your head. What does show if you're moral or not is whether you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. Turn away from sin and be faithful to the gospel. When they say, pork, that law is done away with. They say the law is done away with, but then they're talking about sin and repentance. Sin and repentance to what? To what? We acknowledge we're sinners. So you see, folks, that ash isn't a sign that someone's changed. It's a sign that we are sinners. It's a sign of a sinner. Sinners wear ash on their heads. Crackheads and prostitutes and murderers and rapists and child molesters, they've all got ash in their heads. Half the world. Yet they're waiting for some barcode 666 to be the mark of the beast. There's people they're about to put ash on their foreheads in agreement with a church that has all but molested a large portion of the planet Earth. Them and their affiliates, meaning the members, Catholics across the world have molested. The church has molested officially. The members are their cardinals and priests. Yet half the world's going to get ashes put on their forehead in commemoration of in accordance, in obedience to a group of child molesters. Yet you worried about a barcode as the mark of the beast. This is a sign of the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is within you. Okay? And this sign is proof that we are sinners. It's worn by a sinner. The ash, cross ash, is worn by people that have the mark of the beast. Christians also renew. They fast. When again, the Lord never mandated a fast outside of the Day of Atonement. If you want to take a fast, that's between you and the Lord, the Most High. If you're taking a fast longer than 3 days without water, or longer than 5 days without food, you should get counsel about it, because if you have underlying health conditions, you can drop dead. All right, you get counsel about it from a priest, but that's about it. Other than that, if you want to take a day to fast, not eat, you want to get away from things, then go ahead and do it, man. But you don't need to declare it to the world, and for the world to look at that and say, oh, look, he repented. When it's not. It's not a sign of repentance or morality. Jesus' death. Jesus didn't die on Friday. All right? Jesus didn't die on Friday. Jesus died during the Sabbath. All right, matter of fact, he died on a Wednesday. So like he officially died on a Wednesday, right? In the grave for 3 days, and then he rose on the Sabbath. Died for 3 days, and then he rose on the Sabbath. Okay? All that's a lie. Once that's over, they're going to get back to being murderers, rapists, thieves, drug dealers, etc. All right? All all that is fraudulent. All that is fake. They are not in the truth. They are not followers of Christ, of Yahushua. They don't follow the Bible either. They do not follow the Bible either. Let me show you more on it. All right, Ecclesiasticus 33, verse 7. Excuse me. Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 7. Why doth one day excel another? When is the light of every day is in the year is the sun. Why does one day excel another? It is because the Pope Francis, the pontificate, the Ponti Pope, right? The pointy Ponti Pope that says that you should put ash on your forehead. Is that what makes one day excel above another? Why does one day excel above another? When is the light of every day is in the year is of the sun. By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. By the knowledge of the Pope? No. By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. The Lord separates the days. All right? And he altered seasons and feasts. He alters the seasons. Okay? The relative tilt of the earth and the sun, and I believe the distance of the earth from the sun, who determines the seasons. And he altered feasts. What are the feasts he altered? Day of Atonement, Passover, not Easter, etc. Some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. Some of them hath he made high days. Some of these days he made high days. Okay? He didn't make Lent a high day. He didn't make 40 days of fasting, or really just going without meat and caffeine and dope. Okay, Catholics they're gonna put dope down for a few days. Okay. I wonder if they stop molesting children during these 40 days as well. I wonder if the priests that are caught in sex scandals, I wonder if they stop touching the boys, they stop getting girls pregnant, and then pushing them to go get an abortion. When the church official stance against abortion is that they're against it. I wonder if they stop doing that on during Lent. I doubt it. I highly, highly, highly doubt it. Right? By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. All right? Some of them hath he made ordinary days. Okay, the Lord's what separated the days, not you. Not the pointy pontificate pope. All right? Not the pointy pontificate pope. That's not who altered the days. All right? But the Lord, the Most High, did. All right? The Lord did. The Most High, the one you call God. Okay? That's the truth. The whole truth, nothing but the truth. You have any questions, type them in. You have any more questions, type them in, all right? Leave the chat open for a few moments. Let me get more. Exodus chapter 20, verse 3, and it reads, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." No other gods before me. No other gods. God of the Catholic Church is another God. God of the Christian Church is another God. The God of Islam is another God. All right? The God of Egyptology is another God. All right? No other gods before me. That's what the Lord said. That's what the Most High said, the one you call God. Lent is a God that's not the Most High. And these other holidays as well. All right? And that's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but it. Any questions, type your questions in. Any questions, type your questions in. All right, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. After the doings of the land of Egypt, after what the Egyptians do, we're not to do. Okay? The Egyptians would have had customs similar to Lent, similar to Carnival, Carne Valley, valley without carne being meat. Egypt had similar customs. Babylon, Assyria, Persia had similar customs. All right? And we're not to do after the doings of the land of Egypt. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. We're not to walk in their ordinances, man. Excuse me. We're not to walk in the ordinances of the other nations. All right? We are not to walk in the ordinances of the other nations. We walk in the ordinances of the other nations. We're walking into the ordinances of the Egyptians, of the slave master. That's what we're doing. We're walking in their ordinances. All right? Walking in their ordinances, which is a sin. It's against what the Most High had in store for us. It's against what the Most High said we should do. Anybody, any so-called Negro, Latino, First Nation with ash on their forehead is against the Most High. Is against the Most High. All right? We have to be mighty. We have to be valiant. Not in the Black Panther Party, not in Nation of Islam, not in Egyptology. We must be mighty in the truth, mighty in the scriptures, mighty to do what the Most High said to do. Okay, because that's step one. And that's the whole point of life. Let me show you. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. The duty of man is to fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Okay? This is our whole duty. Our duty is to not do what is done on Ash Wednesday. What is not done, to not do what is done during Carnival. That is our duty and our entire duty. All right? Fear the Most High, keep his commandments. That being said, I'm going to tune out here. Priest Officer 5000 a bun, holding it down. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, as usual, is the home of the truth. This is ISUPK Alaska class. Make sure you check us out, ISUPK.com. I'll mention the announcements real quick. Excuse me. This thing wants to act correctly. All right, hold on one second. Okay. I gotta bear with me one second. I'm trying to get the announcements. you have any questions, cite them in. It's the Alaska class, taught by myself, priest officer 5000 Abun. You gotta hold on 1 second. Just bear with me. All right. For the security announcements, found it, finally. ISUPK security announcements with the ISUPK start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, find that in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10 means tenth in the Hebrew. Ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, gives to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming holy convocations is the Passover. Yep, that's next. Passover, 14th day of the first month. This year it's going to be, matter of fact, it's Thursday, April 20th. Matter of fact, it's Saturday. It's April 24th this year. 2021 is Sunday. You can forget about that. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 through 21. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 4 through 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 through 8. 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 17. All right. Any brother has, check out ISUPK.com. Check out our social medias for any updates. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I said Twitter twice. Excuse me. Any man wants to be a trooper in the school, start to wear all black, blue shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. That, shalom.